Hey guys, it's Cheyenne. On this channel, we do some vlogging as well as some reading of stories. I am doing an introduction to this video for my July 4th, 2022 in the Genesee Historical Living Museum here in New York. The museum has a lot to offer. It's an immersive experience from the early 1800s to the Victorian era. So let's go. Hi, it is July 4th, 2022. We are at the Genesee Historical Museum. And we are on the lawn just eating some lunch and some food before we start our day. First thing that we did while we started touring the place was go to the Suzanne Green costume collection. This collection has a variety of items such as clothes from the early 18th century as well as jewelry and such. One of my favorite parts of the collection were wedding dresses as well as the tuxes for the men. Woo! Nice! Okay. After viewing the collection, we started our way into the historical village for the 4th of July parade. Oh wow, it's the old times.
Welcome.
Hi.
Think of yourself as being back in the early 1850s.
Okay. 1850s, gotcha. After the parade, we decided to start exploring the buildings in the village square.
course, he said yes. So they brought it out here. It took about 4 years to rebuild the house. And then there was a fire in 1996, so they had to redo the kitchen wing and the upstairs. 50s in pieces and stored in 5 warehouses for 20 years while they tried to find a place.
I wonder what this room was for.
Enjoy. Thanks for stopping in. So I have my Independence Day cake bake in my reflector oven right now. Those are those are meringue pies, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 cake, and those are cheese and chocolate tartlets at the end there. And they all have crystallized flowers for decoration.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So the 1, 2, 3, 4 stands for the ingredients. It's 1 cup of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs. And then whatever you want to use for flavoring, that one's the rose water.
Okay.
Nice.
It's like a poor man's pound cake. Yeah. So enjoy your day.
Wow.
Before I leave the kitchen, do you folks have any questions? 30 years, closing in 1883, likely due to financial difficulties because of the improvement in both quality and availability of public schools. People decided why pay $8 a semester to send your kid to school here when you could send her to a public school for free. Surrounded women. On the other hand, with rules and environment that were strict and told you when you could speak, it was creating the kind of women that men would want to have as wives. We know of one boy who attended the school. His name was James Vail. He was the son of the man who did all of the organizing and fundraising to establish the school. James Vail, alongside being a student, was also the school's custodian and bell ringer, and he graduated from the school. Most of the girls who attended, however, did not in fact graduate from the school. Because it was a secondary school, they were approaching ages where they would start to get married and have families and lives of their own, and often that put an early halt to their education.
Today were tours and talks from the museum workers, which was great.
1808 smoothbore musket. So very obsolete even at the time. This one's Civil War from 1863. These are civilians. Percussion. This one's called an over-under. It's got a rifle on the top and a shotgun barrel on the bottom.
Interesting.
And it works with a really interesting.
Yeah, I have an over-under shock.
This has also been around for at least 250 years. This is the great wheel lathe. Disadvantage, it takes 2 people. The big advantage though is you can turn a really big piece of wood like this, which is the center hub out of a wagon wheel. And it's also white oak, which is a very hard wood. So you got the same wood turn up here with the same tools, the apprentice back behind him, not the great wheel. Get this chair out of the way. So because it's big and heavy, it does take a little bit to get it started, but the advantage is, if I get it started, here we go, maybe, there we go, I blame the humidity. The advantage is, once you get it going, it's pretty easy to keep going, because it's just a giant flywheel made out of wood. So it's got a lot of momentum. So the apprentice is back here supplying the power, and then up at your end, where the wood turner is, we got a very small wheel, so it spins that piece of wood fast, so it cuts that much better. And you'll see how much momentum this has, because when I let go, it'll pretty much spin by itself, just because of the weight of that wheel. So that's the one caution for the apprentice, is to not walk into that spinning wheel, because you'll be down there with the wood chips.
Powder.
This one.
You think
The
this
smaller
one?
one.
Which one do you say?
The smaller one.
This one. Yes?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. You're right with this one.
It's got metal on it.
Ah, that's exactly right. Use metal.
We don't want sparks.
Next to this, we could just maybe have a little spark, and there goes our powder.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a problem. So we have to use wooden hoops for powder containers at all times. Okay. But if you want to destroy an army, really, you don't have to. Within the next 30 years. Yes,
Yes, I'm a baby spinner. Really good spinners, you can tell because they use one hand.
Oh,
Yeah, now you know. This is called a great wheel or a walking wheel. Great because of its size, so this is the largest type of spinning wheel. Walking because, in case you haven't noticed, I am very, very slowly walking away from you. It's not like smell or weirdness, anything. I know you look nervous. It's just how it works. And once I am about to bump into the door behind me, I'm going to very, very slowly walk forward again. They say in a day of spinning, you'd walk about 2 miles. So not impressive or anything, but it's better than sitting on a couch. Stone or something. Our sheep are as filthy as any sheep, but I like to think ours are worse. As I do this, I try and do a little last minute cleanup if anything that didn't come out in any of the other cleaning stages already. So I will come back to the front and I'll show you this works. This type of spinning wheel actually goes back to the Middle Ages, 14th century. So if you'd like to imagine me doing this in a castle, you are more than welcome. I keep asking for a medieval living history village, but nobody builds me one. Alright. So basically what happens is when I spin the large wheel here, it moves all the little drive bands. And this part of the spinning wheel is called the miner's head, and it was actually invented in the very early 1800s, which I think is interesting because that's post-industrial revolution. So if you think about it, they were already spinning on factory machines at that time, yet they're still upgrading this nifty 500-some-year-old contraption at the same time. But the miner's head basically means that for every turn of the large wheel, I get many turns of the spindle instead of just one. Kind of like a bicycle gear ring instead of for one speed. That's what it's called. Which is nice. I don't have to constantly turn, or more likely have you constantly turn my wheel for me, which is great. That means you can babysit thousands of other children. So all this to say, I am turning the spindle, and if anyone wants to touch the spindle and see how sharp it is, you are welcome to. You can too.
that's it, guys, for our day at the Genesee County Museum. It is about 4 p.m. and it's time to go. Happy 4th.